Olá, gente, tudo bem? Começando hoje uma série de entrevistas com fotógrafos pets espalhados pelo mundo. E a nossa primeira convidada hoje é minha amiga Darlene Woodward. Ela é fundadora do Pant the Town Photography em Boston, Massachusetts, aqui nos Estados Unidos. E a Darlene foi a primeiro fotógrafo pet que eu conheci num curso de fotografia que a gente fez junto em 2015. A Darlene é especialista em fotografar a alegria e a personalidade única dos animais de estimação. O objetivo dela é capturar os momentos, o vínculo animal e humano e, por sua vez, decorar a casa dos clientes com as imagens lindas dos animais de estimação. Seja bem-vinda, Darlene, à nossa primeira entrevista do Fotografia Pet Unleashed. Welcome, Darlene. I'm so happy to have you here as the first guest of this series of interviews with pet photographers around the world. I think actually you're my first pet photographer friend, right? Darlene and I go way back when we first started with pet photography around 2015, 16. Right, it was the boom of pet photographers starting around the same time. And we did a class together, right, Darlene?
Yep, the class with Jill Flynn.
Yes, it was a nice class. So welcome, Darlene. I'm very excited to speak with you today. And we're going to talk a little bit on how we met each other, right? 5 years ago, this class with Jill. What's her last name again? I forgot.
Jill Flynn.
Flynn, that's right. And this class was back in the days, we didn't have like how it is today, that is this platform that people can learn with videos, right? More, a different class. It was just text, right? We had texts and it was email, right?
I enjoyed it because too, we got out and we actually took photos, having those assignments every week and then taking the photos and then going through those whole critiques, I thought was just a great start for us for pet photography and having that opportunity.
Yeah, it was good. It was good and it was fun. And I met you, so that's
I know, and I can't believe that. And then we met a few years later in person. That was awesome.
Yes, and we're still friends today. So that's great. And Darlene, besides that, we talk once a week. We have a mastermind meeting that we do, helping one another. So I'm very happy to have you as my first guest here, because, you're my first pet photographer friend.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you inviting me. This is fun.
Yes, of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. How did you get started with pet photography?
So my beginning with pet photography had to do with actually going back, rescuing a project dog, probably about 9 years ago, which started my journey working with animals. I was actually a flight attendant for 16 years and rescued a project dog, went through several dog trainers who, wanted to use punishing methods with her, and I knew there was a better way. So at that time, I studied to become a dog trainer and also launched my own dog walking business. Through all that, I left my career flying and kept my dog walking, dog training business. Then I met you through the photography class with Jill Flynn. And then through that, I decided to add photography to my business. So at that time I had dog walking, dog training, and the photography. So it was kind of a big career change, working with people and traveling for years. And then now I've completely become a homebody. I love being home with my dog and spending time with her, because it's just me, my husband, and our baby, which is our dog, Coda. And just 2019 in January, I went full-time pet photography. So this is my second year doing full-time. I do still teach just 2 dog training classes a week with our local MSPCA. But other than that, I'm pretty much all in with photography, and it's what I love. I love it.
So, wow, a flight attendant to a pet photographer. What a change, right?
Big changes, yes, yes. And it's funny because now I just do not want to even travel. I love being home.
I imagine it. Who wants to travel with everything that is happening, right?
True. In the world today, it's probably the best time that I've made the career change and doing what I'm doing.
That's awesome. So I see that, it took a little while since we did the class, right? It's our first class in pet photography. Then since that, did you take any other classes? How important do you think it is education for a pet photographer to have good education, good classes?
Yeah, extremely important to take classes and to continue learning as much as possible. After we did that class, I actually mentored with Jill Flynn. I did my mentorship with her. And the great thing is she had me out shooting anything and everything to work on just kind of getting quality images, working on things like composition, lighting, everything else. And I think even if you decide to become a pet photographer, photographing everything is extremely helpful. Just getting out there, shooting everything, and learning everything that you can. I also did other online classes. I did through the Brian Peterson School, where we took our class with Jill Flynn. I did his course on understanding exposure, which was excellent. Just kind of going right in and learning your camera and that whole manual mode from the very beginning. And that was extremely helpful. And then now just continuing learning with like the Hair of the Dog Academy, reel shoots with Charlotte Reeves, things like that I continue with in education.
Yeah, I also think it's very important. You cannot just buy a camera and start photographing and saying you were a pet photographer. And I think one thing that I think is important, besides learning, right, the craft of photography, is also learning a little bit about dog behavior. And you also a trainer, right? Were you a dog trainer before being a pet photographer or after? Which one came first?
So the dog training came first. And another thing, I'm so glad you brought that up. That is extremely important when photographing dogs, to learn about dog body language. And I find that's just helpful with this career field. So anyone who's interested in pet photography, don't think that, oh, I love dogs, I'm going to go out and photograph dogs. And I mean, dogs, there's everything. You have your reactive dogs, and you have to understand when a dog is telling you that they're stressed out, they're completely done with the photo session, they need space. All of that is important in making the dogs and the animals comfortable during a photo session. So it's so important. And having that background with training has been extremely helpful.
I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of years back, in this group where I'm doing the interview for Fotografia Pet Unleashed, one of the members posted a picture of a dog. He was showing his teeth because, he was giving a warning that he was going to bite. He was not comfortable with that situation, right? I was not there. I didn't know what was happening. But this person posted as the dog was smiling. And I said, well, that's not really a smile. And I don't know if you remember that I showed you that picture. And I was like, Darlene, what do you think of this? Is this a smile? Because, I know you have more experience. I've done also in the same school where you went. I did the body language, right? Psychology of dog course. Yeah. That's another thing we have in common. So we went to the same school to learn that. But I know you have years of training dogs, so you have more experience and you know more, right? So I remember I sent you the picture and I said, what do you think? And you're like, that's not a smile. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yes. I was like, please no, tell her that's not a smile.
Yes. So yeah, it's very important. That's something I also did in the beginning, was to go to school to learn a little bit, because it's important to understand the body language of your subject when you photo.
It is. And I see so many photos posted of things, with the dog's ears pinned back. And that right there is not a signal that your dog is happy and enjoying the moment, or you have the tails tucked, or that hard stare with the eyes, things like that, which the dog is completely uncomfortable. And we have to learn to read those signals. If the dogs need space and they need a break, we have to give them the space and the breaks that they need. So highly, highly important. Even just to take an online course for people if it's something they can't do in person. There's so many dog training academies, things like that, where you can just take a course that deals with just dog body language and learning to read those signals.
Yes, and another thing is, if somebody, sometimes they say, well, I don't have money to pay for a course or body language. I already bought my camera, or I spent money on photography. What I always say is, maybe they can partner with somebody who's a dog trainer, right? A dog behaviorist. And then maybe they can give them some free photos, right? In exchange for some tips on how to deal with certain situations, or how to learn more about the dog's body language and psychologies. It can be an exchange, and it can be a win-win for both parties involved, right? What do you think of that?
Definitely. And even, teaming up with a dog trainer, asking if they can come sit in on a class and observe a dog training class, just to observe the dog's behavior, things like that. Definitely a great idea to pair up with.
Awesome, Darlene. Now, tell us, what do you like about being a pet photographer? What do you like the most about this? Because it's fun, right? We work with dogs. We love them.
We love dogs.
It's a fun job, right?
We love that. And one thing, though, that I do love, and there's a mix when it comes to pet photographers. Some pet and dog photographies don't love photographing pets with people. They just want to photograph the dogs. And for me, it's all about working with the people and their dogs and capturing that connection that they have, that joy, that love between them. So I do love that part about it. I also love, I love working for myself too, and doing what I love. It's just a big change after having, been in a career for so many years and having that set schedule. But it's nice to be able to plan my time and, plan when I'd like to do things, that whole thing. So something to be said about having your own business.
Oh, for sure. I think that's one of the things I love the most too, is just the freedom, to work for yourself, to make your own hours. But I think, like, when you start a business in the beginning, most people are not able to do that, right? It takes time to build into this. And I just want people to understand too, like, the same way, you started the course back in 2015, you didn't go full time, right? In pet photography until 2018. With me also happened the same way. I didn't go full time until about 2018, another thing we have in common.
Exactly.
But it took time to build into this, to have the clientele, but once you do, it's just really amazing to be able to work doing what you love, right? And
it is scary. So I'm not going to tell anyone it's not scary, because before I went full time, I was kind of tackling 4 part-time jobs. I was doing the dog walking, dog training. I was coordinating dog training. I was doing pet photography. And it just got to a point where I felt like I couldn't focus on exactly what I wanted to do. And I had to kind of break that down and say, hey, Darlene, what exactly do you want to do? And it was the pet photography that I was most passionate about. And I had to let go of the other things. And it made such a difference too, when I could kind of focus on one thing and put everything into it. And now it's a matter of, hey, you know what? I have to make this work. Like, I have to do what I can to make this work. So definitely it makes a difference. But until you can do that, it's about learning everything that there is to learn.
It is important to learn, to maybe be with somebody, learn about the body language of the dog business. It's a whole process. I think when people get started, they wanted to do everything. I also wanted to do everything, but it's a step by step. We don't build a business in, 3 months, a year, especially a business like this. It takes time and patience.
And then another thing that was extremely helpful in the beginning was I started photographing adoptable dogs at our local MSPCA, and I joined Heart Speak, which is artists helping animals, and I joined that nonprofit, and that was a way to learn about dog body language too, because a lot of the shelter rescue dogs are very stressed. And, you see all that in that shelter environment. And it also gave me some experience meeting all types of dogs and photographing the dogs. So I highly recommend people to reaching out to local shelters and rescues and photographing the adoptable animals there.
So you think to volunteer is an important piece about being a pet photographer in the beginning, right? So you can
and if it's along with your values,
exactly.
Like if that's something, don't do it for exposure or to think, okay, this is how I'm going to get clients, because that's not what it's about. It's about your values. It's about helping animals, and that's how you have to go into it. You know, you're helping these animals find forever homes by taking beautiful pictures of them to be shown on Pet Finder and all the different places online. So definitely, if it's something, if your heart's in rescue, it's a fantastic way to get that experience.
I agree. I totally agree. It's about just giving from your heart, giving with love without expecting anything in return, and you learning at the same time, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Now I heard a little bark there. That was Coda, right?
Yes. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Coda, because she's your
I'm going to open the door real quick and let her in.
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
And I'll tell you a little bit about her.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah. So Coda, I don't know if she'll make an appearance. She came in to get water. It's a humid day out. She's a husky mix, and she's a rescue from Arkansas. She's 9 now, and she was the one who changed my world. She was a rescue who was an aggressive dog, very reactive. She just had a lot of issues as I watch her, but she is really what got me into it, because trainers wanted to use just harsh methods with her. And she was about 5 months old when we got her. And so I didn't believe things like that were going to help her. And that's how I started learning about dog training. And ever since using positive reinforcement with her, she's just been an amazing dog. Like she'll always be a project. She doesn't love dogs, but she's absolutely amazing. We love to hike. We love to snowshoe. She's awesome.
She is beautiful. She's beautiful. I've never had the pleasure to meet her personally, but I've seen so many pictures, and I think she's gorgeous, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. I love her. She's awesome. So she's my heart dog.
She's your heart dog. It's so beautiful. Like Shanti's my heart dog.
Yeah.
So in Brazil, I remember saying on one workshop, telling people about heart dog or soul dog. I don't think they have this expression there because it was new. Everybody knew, and I didn't know, and I had to explain. So can you tell us a little bit, explain to people, what is a heart dog or a soul dog?
Yeah, that heart dog is just really that one special dog. I mean, we can go through our lives and have different dogs, and they all have different meanings to us, and they're all equal important. We love them all, but they're that one that just is right in here. Like they mean everything in the world to you. And I can't imagine life without her. So it's going to be a tough time when that day comes. But she honestly, my life revolves around her. She's just amazing, and it's all right here, all right in your heart.
It gives me goosebumps because I know that love, and I know how one dog can just change our life completely, you know. So I know this love. Yeah, I know this love you have for Coda because it's the same love I have for Shanti. She was just, you know, my angel that came and changed my life completely and put me in this path of pet photography, you know, and that's why I see our dogs, like, you know, it's amazing, right? How they can change our lives. You know, if it wasn't for Coda, me and you wouldn't be here talking, right? Or if it wasn't for Shanti, we wouldn't be here talking.
I probably would have still been flying around the world and everything.
Yes. Yeah. So it's amazing. I think they're amazing, and they really come to change our lives. And I think this shift too in culture, you know, the way people go to their dogs. It's okay. She came back. It's okay. It's okay. We're all dog people here. We're all dog people here, so don't worry about it.
We couldn't get through the whole interview video without her. Coda, come here.
Let's show. Let's see her.
Yeah, good girl.
Hey. She's cute. Very cute. So yeah, I've been seeing this, you know, this shift in culture, right, with people with the dogs. And it's funny because when I put it over here that we did this course in 2015, you started at that time. I started at that time as well. What do you think that, you know, it started becoming more popular around this time, this year? You know, my thing, and I don't know for sure, not based in any science facts, but I think it has to do with Instagram.
I do think the social media platforms have just completely caused an explosion of photography, and everybody's a photographer, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the cell phones, they can take pretty good pictures these days.
That's true. But the thing, what I think of Instagram, because I think Instagram started around this time, 2015, and it was very popular for people to put photos of their dogs and cats, right, on Instagram and create a profile for them. And it seems like, it became more popular and became more acceptable that a dog could have an Instagram or a cat have their own social media page, and I don't know, it just clicked to me today. I'm like, maybe it was that it became so popular, because I know a lot of us started pet photography around this time, 2015, 2016,
And if you notice, if you've noticed today, there's so many just popping up pet photographers.
Yes.
Everywhere. It is definitely growing, when it was much more niche when we started.
Yeah, the competition is growing, but people still can set themselves apart from competition, from being better photographer, offering better services, right? Because we're always going to have competition, right? So there's nothing we can do. I think in every niche of photography, we were lucky that we started in a different niche. There wasn't many people doing it 5 years ago, right? And
right.
Today,
a lot of people expand, like you'll have a family photographer who does families, seniors, all the pets, everything involved. But I think when you niche down, it does set you apart from everyone else. And then you're more knowledgeable in things like animal behavior that are helpful.
I agree 100%. And are you working in a new project? What are you working on lately? What's going on in your life?
So right now I'm kind of revamping the website, which is fun. So my business, and I wore a shirt today. So my business started out as Pant the Town, which was kind of great for dog walking, dog training, and it's evolved into pet photography. I love the name of my business, so I'm not going to part with that. And I'm working on a new logo and some new branding for the business, which is kind of exciting because it's been 6 years now, 7 years since I've had the website with my same logo and colors. So We'll see how that turns out. And then my hopes is also to expand a little bit and do some commercial photography. Hopefully work with some brands and pet businesses to help them get some imagery for their websites, things like that. So, and we again connected through a class.
Yes. It's funny because, we both signed up for this commercial pet photography class, which was a little bit more expensive, right? We both signed up, but we didn't know. And then until the first day of classes, there we go. We see each other's names there on the list. And it was awesome. It was awesome because then we bother you again, right? To do the homeworks, to help out. It's always good to have somebody, a friend.
It is.
Nice to hold your hand through a different process, that you're going through.
Nice to be able to talk about things, share ideas, connect in that way. So I've enjoyed connecting with you every week, talking about our progress, talking about oh no, I need to work on this.
That's true. We do a lot of that, for sure.
You've given me a good kick in the butt.
Yeah, but it's great because that's where I'm steering my business towards more commercial work. I want to be doing that. I wanted to focus that in 2020. We're like halfway there already, of the year.
And a tough year for everyone. Yes.
Yeah. It seems like it's a normal process with a lot of photographers that start photographing, private sections, and then later they want to, move into commercial photography. And I think that's great. Since at the beginning, I wanted to do more commercial photography, and I'm happy that finally, we're getting there, which is good. We're getting there.
Exactly.
Now,
exciting.
Yes, very exciting, very exciting. Now, how about your pet sections? Tell us a little bit more about the workflow, how you do, your sections, how long it lasts. Just a
Yeah.
little overview of your sections.
Okay, so sessions ahead of time, I like to send out a questionnaire. I like to connect with people by phone. I offer in person too to meet up to learn about their dogs. If it's a challenging dog and they'd like me to meet them ahead of time, that's always nice too. And then we talk about what they're looking for product wise. I love artwork for the home. Like my favorite product is framed prints. Like I love doing framed prints for people. And the sessions usually last, I tell people they can go from 45 minutes up to 2 hours. Puppies are done pretty quick. So puppy sessions, they kind of tire out fast. So those can be a little bit shorter. And sometimes if there's more dogs or we do a hiking trail, because I do the majority of my sessions outdoors, hiking trails, parks, vineyards, things like that, and those can take a little bit longer. And then a week or two after the session, we catch up and go through the images, and I help them choose products for the home. So yeah.
Wow. And then you work in the IPS, right? Like
I do.
they call personalized cells. So you do work with that. I don't want to go too much into that. I want us to set up maybe another day that we can talk about the process of cells, the way we used to do here, right?
Yep.
Some of my audience know that people that have taken my course, they know about IPS. Other people don't. So I don't want to tell too much about it and people don't understand. So maybe we set up another chat, right? Where we can talk about IPS and give some people tips on how to start doing that in their business. Because I know in Brazil, a lot of people still do give digitals, right? It's not so popular to give products. And I would love for us to sit down again and talk about that.
That would be wonderful. That would be great. And quick thing on the IPS that, like we said, we won't get into it, but I was really doing IPS from my very first session. So my very first photo session ever, I did the online gallery. And they didn't purchase from the online gallery. And that right there just hit me like, oh my, they didn't purchase anything. And they might have took screenshots of everything. And that was good enough for some people. So right after that moment, I had heard about the in-person sales and I went right into that. And it makes such a difference when you're actually meeting people, going through their pictures, seeing their expressions on their face when they see those images for the first time, and then actually being able to help them choose the images and choose art for the home.
Yes, because you're providing a personalized service. You're helping them, to make a better purchase. Because sometimes online, they don't know, they're not going to purchase, just going to keep with digitals. They don't know the potential they could possibly this image, right, do for their homes or, a keepsake for the rest of their lives. So it's very good to educate. We're going to do another interview on this for sure, because I need your help to teach people that IPS is the way to go so they can make money. But what advice, you can give someone who is just getting started in pet photography, someone that is new? What best advice you can give?
Well, one big thing is learn your camera. Because I ran into somebody recently about this, and they weren't even sure how to work the camera. So I'd say first and foremost, learn how your own camera works. Get out there, practice, take pictures of anything, put that camera on manual mode, everyone, okay, manual, and don't let the camera decide the settings for you. You decide the settings. Get out there, learn about lighting. Okay, see which way the sun's coming, see if you can get the catch lights in the dog's eyes, which is what we want for a beautiful photo. Golden hour, get out there early in the morning or in the evening before sunset, learn when the best light is, and really just get out there and start practicing.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Darlene. It has been wonderful. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being my first guest and for spending this time with us. You know, I really appreciate. And everyone, if you like this interview, don't forget to give us a like or subscribe to the channel. And also look for Darlene and her beautiful dog Coda on Instagram. What's your Instagram, Darlene?
So it's Pant the Town Photography.
And where else people can find you? Your website?
Yeah, so pantthetown.com. But just remember, it's the play on words. It's not paint the town, it's Pant the Town. So it's pantthetown.com, and that's my website. I am also on LinkedIn. So it's Darlene Woodward, and then my business is on LinkedIn. And also I'm on Facebook with Pant the Town Photography. But would love to connect with some of you, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll put all those links in the show notes so people can, reach out to you if they need. I really appreciate our time together. Thank you so much. And guys, remember to subscribe. There's more interviews like this one planned. And will be one new interview every week. So come on, just hit subscribe now before you forget. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
I appreciate it, Alessandra. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Bye.